Experts are predicting Sydney property prices will continue to fall. Some fear the largest market correction in 40 years. Cost of living pressures and the big rise in interest rates starting to bite into household budgets and weaken consumer confidence.
A rainy Sunday not putting a dampener on these buyers.
There are 1,500,000. We thank you. It sells. Selling. Sold to you.
This four-bedroom home in Quakers Hill selling for a little over $1 million.
Obviously, interest rates go up, budgets commonly come down. So people who have had budgets of your 1.2s are now budgets of your 1.1s to $1 million.
But interest rates are front of mind for many.
Hopefully they don't get up too much. That's what I'm hoping for.
Our families are feeling the heat from all sides. You've got rates on the rise, but on the other side, you've got petrol prices going bananas.
1 in 4 sellers chose to scrap or postpone their auction this weekend. For the first time since the market was shut down because of the pandemic, clearance rates have dropped below 50%. Property prices have fallen by $200,000 in parts of the Northern Beaches and Central Coast. There were also big falls in the Inner West and Sutherland Shire.
We could see the median price in Sydney for a house drop to just $1.11 million by the end of 2023.
With the Reserve Bank tipped to lift the cash rate again, homeowners are being warned to brace for another interest rate rise, and that could come as soon as next month.
We are expecting another hike next month. Economists are predicting it will be a double hike. And if that happens, this would be the fastest rise to the cash rate since 1994.
Nick Hose, 7 News.
Girls, letting you know that I've just finished my last auction in 5 It's actually one you can watch on my Facebook live stream. I only filmed the last 1 minute. In fact, I started filming where I live. But anyway, let's move into it. It wasn't a very big week of auctions because, of course, we've got school holidays going on, and a lot of people that choose to market their property work before or after school holidays. Nevertheless, I still had 6 auctions today, and out of the 6, I sold 1 out of 6. Hi to everyone that's come on. Hi to Eric. And the only one that did sell was the last one. So I was 0 out of 5. I was 0 out of 5 till the auction I did this afternoon at 3:30 in Ingham Avenue in 5 So I must say to you, the first 5 auctions were quite sad in the sense that pretty much the only people that were there were the agents and the vendors. I'm going to say that again. The only people that were at the properties were the vendors and the agents. I pretty much had no one register throughout the day. Now, whether that's because we've had this interest rate rise 3 days ago and the clarity that we've been given that there's going to be another one of the same amount that's going to happen on August the 2nd, and people have turned around and thought to themselves, man, this is getting really scary out there as a buyer, which I think there's definitely some of that. So George says, how did I quickly get back from Byron so quickly? Fly. That's the answer to that. It's only an hour away. Where they've looked at every suburb across Australia and they looked at the growth for the last 12 months and they looked at what's actually happened in the last 3 months. And there are just some clear, there have been 20% drops in 3 months in certain parts. For instance, the Central Coast is one of those. So, gang, man, all I've got to say to you is the Reserve Bank, please keep your eyes out on real estate. It is having an impact. There is no question about it. It's concerning buyers. We have vendors who have significantly reduced what they were hoping to get. And in addition to that, I've got to tell you, there's a subset or a cohort of buyers, those who purchased between 2000 and late 2019, say, and 2000 and end of 2021, which now have assets that are significantly worth less than what they paid for, right? My friends, all I've got to say to you is right now, if you're a vendor and you are thinking of selling your asset, you've got to be a very brave person to hold off not putting it on now, right? You'd want to be putting it on now. You want to be putting on in the next week or two, right? I don't want to see you putting on your property in September, October, November. And the reason I'm going to say it is that we know that we have our normal seasonal rush of properties that hit the spring market. So when you couple that with most likely at least another 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 interest rate rises, this says to me that, hey, you want to be a buyer this spring, not a seller this spring. And how do you become a buyer this spring? By being a seller this winter. Sell it now. Get on the phone. If you're watching and you're a vendor, get on the front foot. 9 o'clock Monday morning, ring an agent, get them to come over and say, tell me, what can you get for my property right now?